Welcome back to the Gift of Music Drums channel, guys. Today we have a very special treat for you. I am today joined with Mr. Zack Graybeal.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Absolute honor. Gear for music.
Here we go. We're going to talk about all things drums. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch more content like this in the future. Let's go. So Zack,
Hey,
welcome.
thank you. You're cute.
I'm gonna blush. You're gonna make me blush. Be careful. I don't want to be too red on camera.
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for coming to see us today.
Thanks for having me, man. Seriously, this room sounds great. We just played some drums in here. I took a visit around the factory you got here, or the warehouse.
Wow. Yeah.
Very nice. And the store, Gear for Music, y'all are really doing it out here. Really doing
so
it.
much.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thanks,
You guys are awesome.
It's really good to have you all the way here from America just after your maiden performance at the UK Drum Show. It's your first time you've been in the UK.
Yep.
Second ever drum festival?
Yes.
Second ever drum
Second
festival?
ever drum festival.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Top 3 best days of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, right under the first time. Actually, we won't talk about that. So let me break it down for you, okay? So we pull up at the UK Drum Show.
Yeah.
Everything's cool. I'm very nervous because I don't quite know when I'm going to play,
Sure.
okay? Because the week prior, I was with my band all day, every day, 24/7, because we're rehearsing to go on tour right after this European clinic tour. You know what I'm saying? So,
And that's Everything Yes. You
Everything
can now
Yes.
find them on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything Yes. New album out now.
that was good, man.
You like that, yeah?
Yeah, that was real good. Yeah, so we were practicing all week prior for tour, and then the guys left. They flew out from my house in Memphis, and I flew out the next day. And on the way here, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna play for the UK Drum Show? I have no idea. So I used the opportunity to practice more Everything Yes songs.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I was a little nervous because I wasn't as prepared as I thought I should have been. But it turns out, the less preparation I do, the better I play.
Yeah?
I don't know why that is. I'm sure people write books on that, but I think it's because I'm more out of my head, right? Because it's more so, all right, whatever happens, happens, and I'm just gonna play the drums and do my thing. And I think that is why I was so relaxed and chill, and I feel like I had a great time.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, I did miss your performance, but I did get to see you to play. I know, I'm so sorry. I had to leave a little bit early, but I did see you on Saturday and we had a little bit of a chat. But
Cool.
I heard from a lot of people that you were probably the most attended performance of the whole festival.
Yeah, I heard that too from a
Yeah.
few people. And I think it's because the time worked out. It was at 2 p.m., because if you go early, people are still waking up, probably hungover. And if you go to a later show, people, just want to leave early so they beat the traffic. And I think
Sure.
it was just the timing worked out. So it was real cool. I played at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, they're going to put humble on his gravestone when he dies, for sure, because, I mean, obviously it's a good time to play the set, but also I think, you've been doing so much work over these last 3 years and, a lot of people are coming up to you and talking to you. I think kids are seeing you every single day on their phone. You're making content. You make some really rich content all the way through COVID. And also you've released some great music. And I think everything just kind of aligned. And I think there obviously was a hunger for people to come and see you play because you're an international superstar.
I wouldn't say superstar.
In the drumming world, I would say like your name comes up a lot.
Cool. Well, it is a huge honor for me. And when I think about it, I'm just still that kid in my drum room, isolated, playing songs for fun, playing with a clique, making jokes, weird, raunchy jokes. Because I'm just naturally a goofy guy. And when it came to making content, when I first started, I basically asked myself, all right, if I was, 12, 14, what type of content would I want to watch drum-wise?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when I was the same age as a lot of the kids that came up to me, I was watching like prank channels.
Yeah.
You know, the real trolly stuff, like comedic things. I wasn't on YouTube searching how to play a paradiddle. Right, left, right, right. No, that was boring to me. And that's kind of the approach I took. It was like, all right, what would I watch as a consumer? Like even if it got no views, if I enjoyed watching it on my own time, I feel like I did a good job, you know.
I think so, yeah. I think it's like a really good balance of being yourself and showing your personality. I think you give people a view into your life as well, you know. We see Mingus.
Yeah, that's my boy. I miss him, man. I miss him.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Nathan's taking care of him.
Yeah, and we see your brother as well. You know, that relationship that you two have and you bounce off each other. And it's just really interesting to watch and really engaging. And I think a lot of these kids are engaged in you, your personality, the jokes and the fun, but there's also some real nice morsels of education, playing, and definitely, especially like historically, jazz or like fusion-y type music has been a bit sort of, you know, snooty. It's like, it's kind of sat on this level of like, you know, like, oh, it's for the elite players, it's for these, you know, and it's like kind of very sort of, you know, it's gatekeepers and, you know, but you've kind of allowed that to open up and you're definitely seeing more of that sort of music kind of leak into modern music anyway, you know, with hip hop and jazz and all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So those two elements themselves, you know, are like really instrumental to the success that you've had online. And I've really enjoyed watching it.
Thank you, man. It means a lot to me. Yeah, the jazz thing, the snooty thing. Me and my band, we always make a joke.
Yeah,
we're like the jazz rejects or the jazz degenerates. We're like the degenerates of jazz because we're not snooty at all, or how you say it, snooty.
Snooty, yeah.
Snooty. I love that. I use that. Yeah, we're not snobs at all. If anything, we're the opposite of snobs because we all either dropped out or flunked out of school. The only person that made it all the way through school was Nathan, my little brother.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Music school, that is. And Nathan's amazing. He's brilliant. But the other guys, me, Sean, Cole, all the guys in the band, yeah, we were like definitely not the best music students.
Of course, yeah.
But you can kind of hear that in the music and the way we play. There's like that grit that they kind of like, man, we don't really care about not that we don't care about the tradition, but we're not chasing a sound that already exists.
Yeah,
we're doing our own thing.
Yeah.
I gotta watch my words here. We're on the internet. I gotta watch my words here.
I think we all are aware of some people that might leave some certain comments, but you can't always make everybody happy all the time.
Yeah, true.
And I think with music, like, it has to have some element of chaos to it for it to be enjoyable. Or
Absolutely.
Some sort of human element. Yeah. If you're always playing in a traditional way, always playing in a gridded fashion, then it's not. I like a little bit of danger, in the music.
A fun fact, I didn't even know what gridding was until I started posting on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing at the moment of, a lot of people gridding. And I listened to a podcast recently with Matt Gartzka, and he was saying that you can be completely proficient and play all the rudiments and know all the sticking patterns, but someone that doesn't listen to music or isn't musical, they don't have that element of chaos or something new, or be able to pull something out of the ether. Yeah, which is there's a fine balance to be had between being able to play a paradiddle at 200 BPM and being musical and knowing where to play it and being able to grab it when you need it. And there is a lot of fakery on the internet, so you do have to be careful. But I would never imagine.
That podcast with Craig Reynolds,
I
watched it on the way here.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good listen, dude.
Yeah, it's a very good listen.
I love
the Downbeat Podcast.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to the Downbeat Podcast. It's a great podcast. So I would say that most people probably think that you kind of burst into existence 3 years ago when you started making videos. We had the jazz drummer plays metal video, which is a great title, and a video that gained a lot of traction. But you did say earlier that before the drum show, you didn't really prepare, but you've been playing drums for a long time, and you've been preparing. So I think what would be really interesting is to tell a little bit about that story, about how you got to that point, because it's not really very documented.
What's the saying? It takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah,
that's true. I'm not sitting here going, look at me, I'm big and successful. You know what I'm saying? I'm still broke.
We are not paying him.
But you're right. There was a lot of practicing and preparation, a lot of gigging, a lot of non-paying gigs, a lot of barely paying gigs in my younger years. I struggled to keep the lights on in college. I had to call my dad, like, hey, can you slap me like $100, bro? You know what I'm saying? And it's not like we had a lot of money either. So
yeah, of course.
My parents would always encourage me to get another job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the music thing wasn't working all that great. But you love it a lot. I remember being in middle school and high school. My dad would go, okay, this summer you're getting a job because the drums ain't paying you nothing. And we didn't have like an allowance or anything, right? So I made up this proposal to my father. I was like, Dad, listen, if I treat the drums in my practice like a job, 8-hour days, hour lunch break, so like 9-hour days. And if I get really good at the drums, it'll pay off eventually. I hope so. If I treat it like that, is it cool if I not get a job? Like, a job, a spoiled brat, right? Of course, my dad goes, yeah, because my parents were super supportive with the music. They just wanted us to make calculated risks. You know what I'm saying?
Because you and your brother both play, right? So are your parents musical? You come from musical
my
family?
father guitar player.
Okay.
He actually got me started.
Nice.
Him and his band. I guess technically his band's drummer got me started, because hearing that kick drum for the first time and diapers, bro, my whole little tiny baby body was shaking.
I remember that is such a vivid memory for me as well. Like the first time you hear a kick drum, like in a room, and you're just like, oh,
but you get it. I wrote about this experience in a college English class. He took points off because he thought I was lying.
Really?
He's like, nobody remembers when they were in diapers. I'm like, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. I'm like, what? Yes, I do.
But it's a real experience. It's like your first. Or it's like it was for me. It was like a friend of my older stepbrother who had a drum kit and go around. And just, poof, you're like,
yeah. It's like, bro, I'm trying to do that.
It's life changing.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. But yeah, and parents were really supportive, and I, sure enough, all throughout middle school, high school, locked myself in my practice room, and I started playing with real musicians when I got a little older. And I noticed something. Bro. I was like, damn, I sound like a practice room drummer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was bad. I was like socially awkward, didn't know how to talk to people. I could, I had some cool chops, I guess, good technique, I guess, at the time. But I just, wasn't vibing well with other people. It's not that we were beefing or anything. It's just I didn't really know how to introduce myself in a way. What am I trying to say here?
It's a whole another thing to learn, though, isn't it? You can learn the instrument with all the all the materials that you have to learn how to play a groove or play a paradiddle, but playing in a band or with other musicians is like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And I guess like you were just learning, in that experience.
Yeah, definitely was learning. And yeah, I do, if I could go back, I would split up that time, 4 hours practice, 4 hours playing with other musicians, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then graduate to all day, just play with other musicians, because that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Just playing with other musicians. Unless there are some people that like to stay in their practice room and Instagram drummers, right?
Yeah, of course.
They like to just do it for the Instagram. That's cool too, respect. In this day and age, you can make a whole living doing that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, and the type of music I play, jazz, fusion, I definitely would rather play with other musicians.
but it's also like a trust thing, right? Because if you're playing like jazz, fusion, or music that has a lot of improvisation, it's like a conversation where nobody says anything. There's a Steve Gadd quote about playing with, you know, other musicians, but it's like some sort of psychic ability.
Yeah.
And to understand and grow that bond and work with people, and it's like I'm ripping a fill, I'm coming in here, like the little nods, or, you know, working with a bass player. It's like, it's a whole nother language, but it's so exciting when you first get started doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so much better, man. And that's another thing in the jazz world, at least the jazz world I was brought up on, there's not enough bands anymore or groups.
Yeah,
it's like pickup gigs or pickup musicians.
Yeah.
We got this guy for this. Hey, can you make this gig on the 12th? It pays this much, 90 minutes, boom. But the route my band took, we want to be like boys, right? Like we're all best friends. We're literally best friends for almost a decade now, all of us. We weren't always in a band together. We just formed the band like last year, came out with a record a few months ago, in March. But even with that, since we've known each other for so long, like we're just a group of boys.
Yeah.
It makes playing together so much easier and more fun. It's like, I know you. I don't know what you're gonna play. I know how you're gonna play it because I know you. We boys. And I can compliment that. And that's what I miss is just hearing more about like groups, not like individual players. That's cool too. You know, you got some really killing individuals, but groups, I love that. You know,
I think it's nice to see, because there is definitely this like independent thing about content creators, and you're just making content on your own. And I think, you know, for a lot of people, it has worked, and it probably will continue to work. But I think, you know, in the last year or so, we've kind of been returning to some, not normality, it's definitely a new normal, but more people are playing together, people are releasing music, and it's what you've done is you've taken a real opportunity to use a platform in which you've created for yourself to kind of promote your music as well. You know, you did the show at the Memphis Drum Shop, right? Which has got quite a lot of views.
Yeah.
And it's a really great video, and it's a really great performance. So it's really cool that you're able to use that. One thing I did want to ask about was your university experience. I know from chatting earlier, you said that you were quite deeply rooted in like traditionalist sort of like jazz culture.
Yeah, I was
initially.
borderline a jazz purist.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine that, me. He's, you know, wearing the suits and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Traditional grip, only traditional grip, you know, only swing, only shred, you know. But when I got to university, I saw actual jazz purists, and I was like, okay, I'm not trying to turn into that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I started venturing out into the fusion, like even started venturing out into rock, you know, metal, emo music. Where are you?
Of course, yeah.
You know, like venturing out. And I started to break away from the traditional vibe that everyone was kind of following, at least at my university. And I think that's the natural thing to do as young people. We kind of rebel.
Yeah,
that's what we do naturally. And everyone's just always saying, you got to play like this, traditional. You know, natural thing to do is like, look away. You know what I'm saying? So I started playing heavier, started taking more influence from bands like Funky Knuckles. You ever heard of them?
I haven't actually.
Funky Knuckles, dude. Dude, they were my band in college. It was like, when I discovered them, it was like I discovered like gold, right? Or the first guy who made fire. It was like that. I was like, oh my God, this is sick. Snarky Puppy, obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, can't go, guys like that. And Chris Dave, Robert Glasper Experiment, all that stuff really inspired me to move away from the ooh, jazz, yeah. You know, I started hitting it a little heavier.
Getting a little bit wonky.
Getting a little wonky.
Yeah,
you know, started checking out a lot of gospel drummers. You know, yeah, and now I play like a weirdo.
you say that,
it's like a fuse between all the stuff.
Yeah, but it's like hearing you say that, it's obvious. Like, you know, when you look at you play now in the stylistic and your musical approach to the instrument, it's obvious that you can tell that there's a jazz background there, obviously. But then you say, you know, listening to rock and the gospel chops and the kind of chops that you play. And then you said, you know, the Chris Dave stuff, and you play like, you know, the wonky Dilla style stuff as well. And, you know, and it's obvious when you say that, but it's it's all those different times in your life and all the different elements that which you come across that help you to create your own sound. I don't think anyone can just pluck a sound out of the ether and just be like, right, I'm all of a sudden I'm different to everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not the case. You're always a product of your influences. It's really interesting to see.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Also, like life experiences kind of change the way you play too.
100%.
You know, like I used to care about how people perceived me, and I started to let go of that because I started having like these deep talks with my dad, and like I was insecure and stuff. I was like, Dad, how do I just let go of what people think of me? He's like, and you know, talks to me about that kind of stuff. And I noticed when I started to do that, it made playing way more fun, right? Because like I stopped, so I'll play in front of a crowd. I don't care what they think about me or how I look or whatever, like what suit I'm wearing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it made me play better, bro. It's like it's freeing. So like that's just a small example of how even life experiences can change the way you play. You know, going through a heartbreak. You ever play drums after like a bad breakup?
No, I haven't actually.
Bro, it's like a different thump. It's like, man, I'm sad, you know? Versus if you're happy, it's more like, I'm pretty happy. But if my girl just cheated on me, I'm like, I'm sad. Try it. Get broken up with.
I've been happily married now for 3 years. I don't know.
Get divorced.
No, I'm just kidding. Get divorced, play better.
I actually, dude, speaking of YouTube and getting divorced and stuff, my little brother went through a breakup not too long ago. Sorry, Nathan, I don't mean to put you on blast. But and I feel bad about it now, but I put a camera in his face. I was like, play the saxophone. Because he was like sad about it. He was like, I'm not doing this video, bro. I was like, okay, my bad. That was wrong of me. That was wrong.
So you basically leveraged your brother's heartbreak in order to make a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was like, can you play a solo better after a breakup? Or something? He was like, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry, Nathan. I know, bad idea, looking back.
So it's really interesting to hear a little bit about, the past, because like I said before, I don't think people have really, been able to get, I haven't seen you do many podcasts or many interviews. So it's really interesting to hear that. So thank you for letting us know. But I think it would be nice now to talk about the last 3 years, because it's been a whirlwind, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
life-changing.
Was it during COVID that you started making? Was it just before, or like when did you start making content?
It was because of COVID.
It was because of COVID. So
gigs slowed down.
You got no gigs. Yeah.
No gigs.
Got no gigs, right?
Yeah. And I needed money.
Yeah, I need money, yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. I only started YouTube because I needed money. Sorry. Obviously, I know you don't get monetized immediately. When I say I needed money, I got on YouTube and I wanted like 1 or 2 students a week.
Yeah.
So my first couple of videos, I may have taken them down because they're like so cringe. I was trying to go more the educational route and hoping people would email me to study with me.
Okay, sure.
And that worked. I got like 2-3 students. I was getting like 200 views or something, maybe less. And I realized something, bro. Theo, you know what I realized?
What did you realize?
I hated it.
You hate teaching?
I didn't hate teaching. I don't hate teaching. I hated like the whole being something I'm not vibe.
Yeah.
Like I'm not one to sit down and explain to you what a paradiddle is, like real formally. I think I wear like a collar in one video, trying to get students.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, man, this is not me, bro.
Trying to be what you might have thought at the time an educator was, or what you think about when you first initially think about someone that teaches drums as like a professional buttoned up guy that's going to be like, okay, down, up, tap, up, showing you all the strokes.
But yeah, that's how I started the channel.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get like 1 or 2 students a week. And then it turns out it wasn't really my thing. I didn't like it. I still had some money left over from like the gigging experience before COVID started. So I just sat on that for a bit before I figured out what I want to do next. And while I was figuring out what I want to do with my life and this new life of no gigs, I said, why not make some actual videos that I would like to, that I would watch myself. So I would get on the camera making these dumb faces, playing drums. That's what I do. I like to play drums and make a bunch of jokes, you know. And it turns out those videos did way better than the teaching how to play paradiddle. I was like, wow, look at this. People like me.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great. So that kind of starts snowballing, and people start recognizing you, and people start watching the videos. They see you're a great player, and then I guess some brands start getting in touch. Yeah. So who was your first endorsement?
My first endorsement.
Or the first brand that approached you?
The first brand that approached me was Vic Firth.
Vic Firth, yeah.
Vic Firth, yeah. I'm not with him anymore.
No,
not with him anymore. Maybe it was totally cool. My contract actually ended.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got another opportunity from Meinl.
Yeah.
Meinl Stick and Brush to come up with a signature stick.
Yes.
And obviously, I love Vic Firth.
Yeah.
So like, instead of signing the new contract with Vic, I decided, did the numbers. I was like, it's just better for me financially, and I can make a stick that I love, right? Because why not get paid to play this, the stick of your dream?
Yeah.
And,
you get some money from it, but you also get to create your own stick, and the stick that becomes your extension, so it's
exactly. And really, I just wanted to create a stick that I could use for everything. I know that's everybody's line, like the all-purpose stick, but for me personally, it is the stick. It's funny, I don't even have them on me right now.
Well, I can tell you that they sold out at the UK Drum Show. I spoke to some of the guys from Meinl, and they ran out really quickly. It was like one of their most popular products.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So
cool.
It's a really great stick. I had a feel of it. It's like is it like somewhere in between a 5A and a 5B in its weightiness, or is it like a long? Describe it to me. It's between a 7A and a 7A
and it's between a 7A and a 5A, right?
Okay.
Somewhere maybe directly in the middle. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
and it's longer.
Yeah, and it's longer, and it's got these oval tips. I have the prototypes right here, but this is basically the stick before like the finishing touches. But this tip has like this real special sound when you play the ride, like real smooth and sweetly. But that length, gives you that power, like just whip it, like pop, pop. But also, you can be sensitive, real sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you laughing at?
So it was Vic Firth. You had the Vic Firth deal, but today we're here with Dixon Drums.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're the second company. No, actually, funnily enough, they were the last company to endorse me. Okay. Although I've been playing them for a while now.
So I guess was it Greg?
Greg called me.
Greg called you.
Yeah, and he says, first of all, I don't know how he got my number. Greg Bissonette.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just randomly got a call from a California number, and I pick it up. I hear, "Hey, Zach, it's Greg Bissonette." I'm trying to talk like him.
It's pretty close. A bit louder. But.
Yeah. It's Greg. He said, one of my students just showed me one of your videos, and like I fell in love. Hey, are you associated with any drum company? I mean, yeah, I really like Gretsch. I'm playing a Gretsch kit right now, and I have a DW kit in my basement. But I'm not officially associated or endorsed by any company. He goes, "Whoa, man, I'm with Dixon. Can we send you a drum set?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Sure." Who says no to a free drum set?
Yeah, of course.
So they send it to me. It was a Cornerstone kit,
sure.
Just like this, but it was like a natural wood finish. And right out of the box, I made a whole YouTube video on this.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a new drum kit, but right out of the box, it was probably the first kit I've ever played that I liked the way it sounded right out of the box, and not only the way it sounded, but the way it felt.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm talking about. You're a great drummer yourself. I heard you playing.
Thank you so much, man.
Like, you're welcome. I think the way a drum kit feels is just as important as the way it sounds.
100%.
100%.
I agree.
Come here. Yeah. Drum bros. Yeah. Yeah. And the box right out of the drum kit just felt really nice.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't tune a thing. I was like, wow, this feels good. Real nice.
I would say, like, from playing the kit, it's very sensitive, and it gives you everything that you need. It's a really nice maple shell kit. It looks beautiful. There's some really nice finishes. I think Dixon are really nailing it with the finishes from a lot of the kits that I've seen. And this is, it's a 45 degree bearing edge sort of like maple kit, but it's a workhorse and it's going to do lots of different things.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you can crank this up. You could play, play a lot of jazz stuff on it. I mean, it's quite low at the moment and really punchy. A very modern sounding drum kit. I think it sounds wicked.
Yeah. There's so many things you can do with it. You can crank the toms up, have like a bop kit. Maybe have it swap the bass drum for a 20-inch.
Yeah.
You really get boppy. You can even do it on the 22-inch. But aren't you guys selling this exact kit?
We have the kits that's very similar to this. And it's all made in the same factory anyway. And the consistency of these, from what I've seen from playing a few different kits, has always been absolutely fantastic. In fact, you've been to the factory, right?
I've been to the factory.
Yeah?
I've been to the factory. It's funny you say that because I was playing on that free Dixon kit I got for like a year and a half. And then they finally go, all right, you've been playing a kit for a while. Why don't we invite you to the factory, have your own thing? And so I built I didn't build it literally. I don't know how to build drums, but I gave them the specs I wanted, like really thin maple shells. I think it's like 4-ply.
Okay.
I was real adamant about having a non-virgin kick drum.
With the hole in it.
Yeah, with the hole in it.
Yeah.
And the tom mount, because it's easier to move around. I move my drum set a lot. It makes it cool. And I like having like all straight stands.
Yeah. It's a nice fusion between modern and classic, isn't it? So you've got like the modern shells with the modern construction, but you still got some of those classic vibes.
Yeah. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful drum kit, but even more beautiful sounding. And I love that thing. I fell in love with it. But yeah, after we finished building it and got the kit all packed up and ready to be shipped back to the States with me, that's when I signed the Dixon endorsement deal. Yeah, so even though I've been playing on them for a while, they were still the last company because, and this is what I admire about Dixon. It's a family, right? They don't just throw out endorsements. They want to know, hey, cool Hank, do you like us? We like you. I got a crush on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a family type of thing. I don't know who would have a crush on their family member, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm a long way from Alabama. I'm in the UK.
It's cool. It's not just like, it almost seems like it's development and, it's a partnership working together, So it's nice that it kind of took that amount of time.
Yeah.
You just rush into, a relationship and then, find out that you hate each other or you can't work together after a year. So it's nice to be able to do that. You're not contractually obliged. But the drums are wicked, from my experience of playing them at the show and, hearing like, a lot of people said the kit that you played, which was like, what was the kit called that you played at the show?
A Dixon Artisan.
Yeah, the Artisan series. I saw that beautiful looking drum kit.
Probably the best kit I've ever played in.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I was hitting on some just museum type of drums. I felt scared to accidentally hit a rim, bro.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't want to scratch it.
Yeah,
the thing sounded amazing. It felt so good too.
Yeah, I had a little tap on the toms when I was at the show. It sounded really nice. I mean, yeah, we are here with Dixon today, but they've been absolutely fantastic, and we've got some snare drums behind us, some really cool, interesting finishers with the wood hoops. They've got all different kinds of metal drums as well, and you can find them in the link of the description of this video. We'll link down everything that Zack gear for music. We'll link down everything that Zack plays down there and what he's played in the videos today. I guess the final little bit of drum gear that I want to talk about would be cymbals.
Yeah,
dude.
Mino, don't get me started about Mino, dude. That's another company that's like big on family and like closeness, which you would think not really because they're so huge. They're everywhere. Everybody knows them. But once you get into that group, it really does feel like a tight-knit family type of thing.
The core roster isn't really that massive, to be fair. They have some really big names, but they're not endorsing everybody.
Yeah, they're not just like, here, endorse it. Yeah. I love that. They really prioritize musical integrity too. So if you're like just on TikTok, setting your drumsticks on fire, showing your breast assists, like they're like, all right, that's cool. Like you have a lot of followers, but they prioritize musical integrity, and that's what I love about them. And like the family vibe, the good thing, which is really cool. And I love that about Minor.
And you played the Minor Drum Festival, right?
Yes, I did.
And how was that?
It was amazing. Another amazing festival, man.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to make it because I was going on a holiday and I really wanted to go, and I was pretty gutted. But I'm definitely going to go to the next one. I was over there in January, and they treat, when you go and visit them, they treat you like family. It's a great company.
Oh yeah.
And the cymbals are great. I thought maybe you could tell us about your secret hi-hats.
Secret hi-hats? No.
No?
I'm just kidding. I got you. Yeah. So the hi-hats. I mean, I guess they're not so secret anymore because I'll go Instagram live and I get a question, and I'm always so happy to answer. I just call them secret because it sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're
secret hi-hats.
I've played them, and it's such a great feel and sound. It's different to anything else I've played, I think.
Oh, cool.
In regards to hi-hats.
Final. Let's get this signature hi-hat going. All right, so it's basically made up of 4 cymbals. And when I told my Minor rep that, he just looked at me like, and then he was like, I get it. Yeah, it's just, so on the bottom we have a 8-inch dark splash, and I'll tell you why I have this at the bottom later.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the most confusing part to me.
Yeah.
Why that exists.
Bro, don't be confused. I got you, okay? And then I have another splash cymbal, which is a 10-inch bottom of the temporal stack from Matt Garska, the signature stack. The reason why I chose this one because it's one of the thicker 10-inch splashes they have. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Okay. All right. And now above that, I have the 16-inch, what is this? The dual trash crash. Okay. Right. And for the top hat, we just have a 16-inch sand hi-hat, which is the Benny Greb signature. And I had 4 rivets installed. 2 of them fell out, but I still have these. I gotta get them done again. And yeah, and in combination, you get this real bite.
Yeah.
And it sounds really cool. And the first guy I've ever seen do something like this was actually Eric Harlan, which is a huge influence of mine growing up. He still is, one of my favorite. But he put like an effects hat on the top.
Yeah.
And when I do that, because I'm not as good as Eric Harlan, sometimes my stick gets caught in a little hole.
Oh yeah. Sure.
It did earlier today when we were practicing one of these dudes. So I just put it on the bottom, right? And the reason why these splashes are under him is because without the splashes, then the thinner, the thin 16-inch trash cans will actually bend. Oh yeah. It's so annoying. Okay. When that happens, right? Yeah. So I put an 8-inch splash and it helped it a little bit, but I'd be training legs and stuff. Yeah. It still didn't help it that much, and it still would still bend. So I put another splash, the 10-inch half of the Matt Garson signature, and it even added a more drier thing to the sound. Like, it made it more dry, and I really liked it.
Stabilizing the rest of it, isn't it?
Yes. Cool. The splashes are purely made for stabilizers, not for sound. Okay. Even though they do kind of add a little bit.
Then maybe they do something in terms of like deadening that bottom cymbal. Because it's going to be quite lively because it's thin. Yeah. It's got holes in it. And having those huge holes in that bottom hi-hat as well, and in the trash splash, it helps the air to move out way quicker. Which means you don't have to push as hard, and you can, if you're stepping the hi-hat, which you do a lot, in fills or in grooves, you can get that step much quicker.
Yeah. And it's 16 inches, right? And I love the way 16-inch hi-hats feel. Okay, I don't necessarily like the way they sound.
Yeah, of course. A bit sloshy.
Which is super cool for a lot of other people, and like heavy backbeat bass music, which is cool. But and the type of stuff that I play, and I gravitate towards too. I like fast acting, or like fast, super responsive hi-hats.
Okay.
Right. So even though I love the way they feel, right, doing it this way, I also love the way they sound.
Yeah, of course.
So I get the feel and the sound all in one, and I love it this way, and that's why they're called my super secret hi-hats. I bring them with me everywhere, man. I just put them in a suitcase and I'm out.
That's wicked. I think it's interesting that you're already kind of developing your own, product and finding a sound.
I've always been like that though.
Yeah,
I always do weird stuff. Yeah, that's just what you do when you don't have a life. you just start doing weird stuff to your drums.
It's cool though, because it helps you to create your sound, and it gives you an individuality, which you wouldn't get if you were playing like a pair of 14-inch Byzance traditional, or just the jazz hats. It might have been something that someone would assume that you would play. But it's really cool. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been a pleasure to be here, man.
And it's been really insightful to learn a little bit more about your past and a little bit about your setup and your gear and why you play the gear that you do play. So thank you.
Yeah.
Guys watching at home, please leave a comment down below. Zack probably won't answer it, but I will. I know I'm the least interesting out of the two of us, but I'll answer it.
No, I'll come to this video. I'll be in the comments.
You're going to be coming to the comments?
Yeah,
Zack's going to be in the comments.
I'll be in the comments. Yeah.
So comment, because then he'll reply to you.
Yeah.
As always, do not forget to like and subscribe. We've got loads more cool stuff coming in the future with new products, artists, all that kind of stuff. So please do like and subscribe so you can catch that in the future. I've been Theo with Gear for Music.
I'm Zack Grooves.
That's Zack Grooves. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye.